Arthur O'Connell, I'd like to know, you've played in many different types of pictures, and you have what I would call the face.
The face?
In that you are seen in so many, and in this particular picture that we've been talking about, you have a refreshing personality in this, one that is so realistic.
Well, I guess I'm a kind of a realistic actor who has followed the Stanislavski method, and I've been an actor so long, and a stage actor, that what I do is 100% Arthur O'Connell usually.
Well, I think this is the reason that you are. Your personality comes through on all of them.
Well, I like people. I guess that's the answer to that.
And women, too?
I love women. Always have. I loved them so long that I didn't get married until 3 years ago.
Is that right? Well, this is something. There's hope, then, for some of the bachelors that are good catches.
Oh, yes, I think all of them are available. You know? Don't give up.
Don't give up this
No,
ship.
no.
Vivian Vance is your co-star as far as your wife is concerned in this picture, and both of you just did beautifully together.
Well, I enjoyed working with her. I never worked with Vivian before, but I've admired
You ought to
her.
do a series together.
I don't think you could get Vivian to do a series. She's done that series with Lucy so long, and she lives in Connecticut, and I think that she doesn't like California that much. But I'd be quite willing to do a series with her.
Have you always lived in California?
No, no, I was born and brought up in New York, and I was a globetrotter for about, 20 years, and then I got kind of successful in pictures. And the man I can see is giving us that.
Right, that means wind up.
Yes,
and you were wound up for the great race, I'll tell everyone.
Thank you very, very much, Ida. Nice talking to you.
Fine.
Come see the great race.
A bronze beauty, Natalie Wood. You really are. This tan is just magnificent.
Oh, thank you. I've been so pale that I finally decided to get a tan.
I believe this is the most tan I've ever seen you.
I think it's the most tan I've ever been.
Well, it looks good.
Thank you. Well, you know, when I'm filming, I'm not allowed to get in the sun, because, especially for color film. So the minute I finish, I usually go on a boat trip and get sunburned.
Well, that's great. In fact, in this particular picture, you are in color so much. This beautiful color,
yes.
isn't it?
Isn't it lovely? Yeah.
The costumes that you had are so colorful. Edith mentioned to me she had to do this to compensate for the black and white of Mr. Fate and the Great Leslie.
Yes, which was marvelous, because we were able to use all the bright colors. I think she called them the bonbon colors.
Listen, you were quite active in this film.
I know. I had to learn to fence and ride and drive the Stanley steamer, which was very difficult. They're very stiff.
Did you like fencing?
I did. I enjoyed it very much. Yeah. In fact, I think I'll keep it up.
Keep it up. I was going to ask you if you ever, when you learn something for a picture, decide that you might like this as a hobby.
Oh, yes, very much. And then I had taken some ballet when I was a child, so it was kind of helped.
Sure. Is this the first film you've ever played in with Tony Curtis?
No, we've done two others together. One was with Frank Sinatra called Canes Go Forth, which was a drama. And then we just did a picture called Sex and the Single Girl fairly recently.
Right. I didn't get a chance to see that. It was only in our town a short time. But you play beautifully together.
Oh, we had great fun working together.
I bet. I know the action in it. In some places, you get wet and are thrown around and pies.
And pies. I think that was practically the most difficult.
How many pies did they use?
I don't know how many they used altogether.
I think someone told me 9,000.
9,000, maybe so.
They had to keep upping it all the time.
I know. They kept running out of pies.
They were real
pies.
pies.
Making the pies. Finally, yes, they started making them on the set. I mean, they have the crust, and then they were putting the custard in and so forth.
I noticed one butterscotch. How did it taste?
They were pretty good.
Can't imagine covering up a face like Natalie Wood with pie, but it was great, and I'm sure everyone will enjoy you in it.
Oh,
I understand your waistline is only 19 inches. How do you do that?
Well, in the picture, Edith got it down to 17 with a corset.
Do you diet?
No, I haven't dieted. The only time I ever dieted was on the last film, because I had to be thinner than I had to look skinny in the beginning, but normally I don't diet.
Never skinny, just great. Natalie, thank you.
Thank you.
Edith, I'd like to talk to you just a bit about the great race. Was the costuming a race for you to make such beautiful ones? I've never seen such magnificent costumes as Natalie wears in this.
It wasn't a case of being a problem. It's a case that we had to make so many doubles. You know, she kept falling in the ocean or being pushed off cliffs and things. And in a picture like this, you have to use period fabric. and all of a sudden you say, I just found 10 yards of white satin for a wedding dress, and they say, terribly sorry, Edith, we need 3 wedding dresses.
Oh, no. Well, since I've been through your plant and talked about you quite a lot on the show and talked to you on the telephone, I feel my viewers know you fairly well. And I would like to ask you about your necklace. I noticed this. Now, would you?
It's a collection of old theater tickets. And I don't know why it has nothing to do with designing, except I suppose theater is a little like motion pictures.
Well, it's personality, too, for you, I'm sure.
A lot of people say, why do you wear the dog tags? So then I just pay no attention to them.
Well, I think it's great. The costumes, getting back to them just a moment, Natalie has such a small waist. Just how big is her waist?
Natalie is actually 19 inches in the waist. And in the picture, I squeezed her in to 17 inches.
Oh, no.
Did you notice the scene with the corset?
Yeah.
Well, we actually pulled her in 2 inches, but she's so little to start in with that it wasn't much of a problem getting the little look.
Well, I wish that the people could see this film before they hear this interview, and perhaps I'll play it before and after. But I noticed one outstanding feature of the movie that was quite appealing to me was the fact that her costume changes were so unrealistic. Here she is in the desert and in the ocean and so on, and yet she has these magnificent dresses on.
Well, you see, we based the idea on director Blake Edwards' thought that this picture, this girl, is not an ordinary girl. In other words, she says, I'm going to cross America, so I will hit the desert, therefore I will take riding clothes. I will hit Alaska, so I will take snow clothes. And he thought it would be an amusing idea, and I think it turned out well.
Very good. How about the colors? Did you select the colors for these?
Yes, and the reason it was important, if you remember, the 2 male stars are always in black or white, so it gave me a chance to use color without any competition.
Well, the hoods and all that go with all of the costumes were just beautifully tied in.
Incidentally, I have something interesting to tell you. This winter and this fall, you're going to see hoods just like Natalie's with a fur trim around them.
Good. I can't wait and hope for winter.
Good. They'll be coming.
Thank you, Edith.
Pleasure.
As you know, a producer is the boss, the one who pulls the strings. And today we have Mr. Marty
Giroux.
You know, this name, it's spelled different.
Not easy.
How's it spelled again?
J-U-R-O-W.
Because it's a name you'll see on the Great Race. And this has been a race for you, hasn't it, Marty?
Well, it's been a wonderful race because it's been fun, filled with humor, filled with comedy. It's taken us about 4 years to do. We spent 3 years in preparation and finally 1 year in actual filming and production. And tomorrow...
Well, it's going to be great. I haven't seen the pictures yet, but the pictures, the stills that we have around the exhibit here, and the cars, these cars are magnificent.
As a matter of fact, we conceived, executed, and designed the cars right in the mill at the studio. We built not only one of each model, we had to build 3 or 4, so that we'd have some in Europe, some in the United States. We traveled through the United States as well as Vienna, Salzburg, Paris, to bring the comedy to you.
Well, you know, unlike many big pictures as this one is classed, and of the really greats, we have heard a lot about the story, the plot, so to speak, of the different pictures because they've been taken from books. This all is new to me. Were you aware of this when you started it?
Yes, we were, and all we knew was that we were going to take Jack Lemmon, Tony Curtis, Natalie Wood. We were going to travel them from New York across the world to Paris in 2 automobiles, and Natalie would drive with one at one point and one at another, and we were going to get as much fun and humor out of it as we can. It's a throwback, and I think the influence of the great comedies of the past have inspired us.
Good. And the color, it must be fantastic.
I hope so, as well as it was done in Panavision and 70 millimeter Technicolor. And the color is, and the costumes are lovely, but more than anything else, I think is the spirit of fun, the elegant slapstick that we bring to the work.
Well, the slapstick with the pie-throwing incident must be side-splitting, say that.
Side-splitting, and if it doesn't stop the show, we're in trouble.
How many pies?
4,000.
Oh, I think we'll end on 4,000 pies.
In fact, that's what we did.
She's giving me a wind-up.